And if I don't like the video, I'm throwing it away. He was asked, can you bring me a bowl, please, and a rubber spatula? Forgot something already. To start with, I want to let you guys know that in order to fit this in the box, the cardboard that we're going to put underneath it needs to be cut. We have a lot of these from previous, God knows when, years, and I don't want to order more. So you just got to copy around the cake tin with a pencil and cut it. I'm telling you to do this first because if you do it later on, you're going to have to cut around a cake and it will be a lot more difficult than if you do it now. Our boxes only just fit the cake in it, so we can't have more space on the paper. So the paper is going to go under here. It's so that you have a solid base on your cake that you can move around. It's big. Okay. To remove your cake from your pan, guys, you see these don't have any spring form or anything. You can't open it up, so you just have to go around with the spatula. And don't dig into your cake, because if you destroy your cake now around the edges and make it all crumbly, it's going to be really hard for you to ice and put together. So it should come out pretty easy. As you see, guys, devil's food cake is always very lopsided. It has a rounded top. That's just the way this kind of cake rises. So we're going to level it out a little bit by cutting just a little bit. You don't need to cut it all the way off. But instead of throwing this out, I want to keep it, I want to crumble it up and make crumbs to put around the outside edges with it. So I know you guys would probably like to eat it, and usually I let you eat it, but today we're going to try a different thing. Okay? And also you don't eat while you're working. So first thing we have to do is cut this in 3 layers. If you really find it difficult to cut in 3 layers, I'm going to let you cheat and cut it in 2 layers, but I think you guys should all try. Okay, so the way that you cut it to make it come out good, there's a few different ways. Some people prefer using dental floss or a thread, because you can put it all the way around and then just pull it. That can work too. I've always done it this way, so I'm showing you the way that I do it. So I just get the knife where I want it, and if you keep turning the cake around, instead of just cutting straight through, then you get to the other side and you're like, oh no, it's really lopsided. I can just turn it around, keeping the knife where I want it to be, and then right now I'm all the way back on the other side, and I'm going to cut all the way through and have an even layer. Okay? Then I can do the same thing again. So for a devil's food cake, and most cakes, I always use the bottom as the top. It's because the bottom's going to be flat, and the kind of cake that we're making, it's like a bakery style cake. It should be square. You can use either the top or the middle as the bottom. But you should always make sure you don't leave the paper on eventually. So it's a good idea to glue the cake to the base with a little icing. This is just so it doesn't shift around, not because we need icing there. And I'm going to put it this way up. As you see, I'm going to have some filling in to do in this area. This is where the cream comes in handy. If I was using a different kind of cake, I would put a little bit of syrup or fruit juice on here. Yeah? Pardon? What? Okay, just give me a second. I'm getting to that. I don't have a lot of this. This is cherry filling. You can, if you want to, use a little fruit filling on here. It gives it like a fruity taste, which I personally quite like, but some of you probably don't. In any case, you don't need a lot of it. So I will use a little bit of this. The first layer is going to be difficult because it's an awkward shape. We're using this artificial whipped cream. It's kind of like Cool Whip. And the reason we are is because we can't afford the real whipped cream. And because it's literally more than 3 times as much. We pay $6 for a liter of real cream, which we'd need about 10 of for your class, so it's really expensive. And we're using it also because I wanted to teach you certain decorating techniques that you use with this kind of icing. So I'm not sure if you guys like it or not. Usually I find most students love it. Some of them think it tastes artificial. I think it tastes artificial. I don't really like it much myself, but it'll still teach you how to do the technique just as well. So you see how I've got like chunky cream sticking out at the sides? That is going to help me later on. What I'm trying to do is make it flat, not follow the contours of the cake. So this is my top. Put on my next one. Because I'm using this, I'm going to use a little of it again. This is actually, the way I'm doing it is more like a Black Forest cake. If I was putting rum flavor into the sponge, it would basically be a Black Forest cake. If you guys want to put rum extract in, you can. It doesn't have any real rum in it. Look. Last part on top. See how it's nice and flat? If you do cut your cake really crooked, it is possible to fix it, because as long as you match the big side with the small side, at this point you can fix it and make it so it's not crooked. So it's fairly even. This is something I want you guys to really pay attention to, please. We're not putting the icing on now. Okay, we're just putting what's called a crumb coat. The point of this is to seal in all the crumbs so that your final coat doesn't have a lot of cake mixed in with the icing. So you just need a tiny bit. We're just trying to seal in those crumbs all around. And that's why all this cream that's sticking out here really comes in handy for me. You guys will see that when you do your own cake as well, because you probably won't have the cream sticking out because you aren't experienced at this yet. So just sealing it in all the way around. Get all those crumbs sealed. And your finished cake, finished for today, it should look like this. Stella, can you bring me this saran wrap? I'm going to show you how I let you store it. And tomorrow I'll show you how we're going to do the final touches on it, the icing on top. And we're going to even do cool chocolate decorations, crumbs on the sides, and other features of bought cakes, which you probably haven't done before. So I want you just to cover it with the saran wrap and pat it down. I'm going to put it in the freezer. It's going to be a solid log for you to decorate tomorrow, which will be very easy. And also we can keep it frozen because it will be easy for you to transport it on the way home. It's really hard to transport a cake that's got cream all over it on the bus and so forth, so it's probably better for you guys to freeze it and then take it. Okay, write your name. I recommend that you guys always use the tape, because sometimes the ink goes through the saran wrap somehow. And I think then we'll get started. Let's go. Your cakes are at the back. Those of you who didn't do it